Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another week of the Focus TV. Joined by Xavier Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr., and again, welcome to the Focus TV Season 5, Episode 10. As you guys can see, Cardell's checking it live from halftime of the Wizards Oklahoma City Thunder matchup. There's a whole lot of home games this month for Washington. For those of you who haven't been following us on Wizards Outlook, I like a ton of games. But Cardell, what's going on at Capital One?
Yeah, more of the same. What we've been talking about on Outlook. The Wizards are trailing OKC Thunder 61-58. It's really coming down to the issues that's been there all season. They can't guard the perimeter players. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is having his way. He has 18 points on 8 of 13 shooting. Lou Dort lighting him up from deep. He has 12 points, so it's 2 or 3. But the thing that's killing them is the bench production. Terrence Mann and Darius Bazley came in and just went to work. You know what I mean? And, Darius Bazley is a former starter, so he's pretty much their sixth man. But they came in, had 14 points off the bench. And right now, their bench points, they have 22 bench points in the first half. The Wizards turn the ball over, they can defend them. And this is an example of how non-existent their defensive intensity and impact is. I'm talking about the Wizards. OKC only had one turnover in the first half. One turnover with a young team full of guards that trying to find their way. They were only forcing them one turnover. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win many games like that, man. Like I said, Cruz got onto a hard start. He had 11 points in the first quarter. Right now, he's leading the way with 16 points, but he only has one rebound. Caldwell Pope being steady, you know what I mean, doing what he does. He has 11 points and 3 of 7 shooting. Trez is having a strong impact off the bench in the first half. First game back off of health and safety protocol. He has 10 points and 3 rebounds. Other than that, they're looking for help, especially defensively, man. I wish I could give y'all something different, man, but it's the same old, though. Until they really take it personal about the defense, you're going to see more of this. And with that said, they're only down 3. So what if you just got a few stops? You know what I mean? You up at half, go and close these young team out. Because it's not like they're just lighting them up from the field. They're just going right past them. I mean, it's like they're stuck in quicksand. I give Rui some credit. They put Rui on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander towards the end of the second quarter, and that kind of calmed them down. We all know Rui's a good defender and whatnot, but it don't matter if you got Lou Dort lighting them up from 3, corner threes. Josh Giddey, this kid, man, his instincts to run and running the offense, and the way he can pass the ball, it's out of this world, man. You know what I mean? And you can still see he's still trying to figure it out. When he does figure it out, it's gonna get ugly. He's working on the triple double already. He has 6 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds at the half. So, the Wizards got to figure it out, man. And we keep saying that, it's not looking good. This is one of the worst teams in the league. And you're having issues defending now. So, you'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think one of the most things that offended me deeply was that a young team like that with guards, bigger guards that are trying to figure out, have one turnover. Like one turnover.
One turnover.
Like just one. Young teams throw the ball away just for being young at times. Just one. Obviously we've all talked quite a bit. No, I was just going to say, obviously, we talked quite a bit about the issues this team has had defending, especially on the perimeter. Against teams with bigger guards, talk about just how important it is and, what has to change before you get out of here. I know halftime is going to end soon for them to get on the right side of this because this isn't a good look coming off of narrowly beating Orlando on the road. It's back-to-back young teams, and you're down to the Thunder at home.
Take pride in your defense, man. And at the same time, take pride in your defense, but at the same time, I'm not even gonna say take pride in your defense, man. Get on, become one, man. Get on the same page defensively. You see 2 guys pointing and telling each other what to do, but then the other guys on the help side, on the far side, aren't even don't even have a clue about what they're trying to do, and then they're getting beat back door a lot. You know what I mean, that's one thing I saw OKC trying to do in the second quarter. They're getting beat back door, and they get easy baskets, man. And another thing we've been touching on the outlook, stop trying to the rest. Stop trying to the rest. That's hurt their defense as well. You get them slow, looking at the rest flying. Meanwhile, they're going down the other end, and it's 4-5. By the time you get down there, they either score or they got a shot up, and they have many players in the paint getting the offensive ball and putting them right back up. That stuff hurts, man. And the deflation, and those points add up. You know what I mean? The offensive boards and second chance points, they add up. So it's about the little things with the Wizards. And just take a pride in the defense. Doing what you got to do to get stops. They're shooting 54% from the field, man. Offense is not the problem. And oftentimes it's not. But OKC is shooting 48% from the field, and they're up. You know, it's on them, man.
It always is. It always has been. It's what the three of us have said for quite a while. They control, like you, and that's the sad part. The biggest issue they have is something they can control. Defense. It's something you can control. You can legit control. But Cardell, I know you'll be locked in for the second half. We're going to catch up with you later on Wizards Outlook. Thanks for checking in with us. To everybody's watching, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, Octavia's going to talk. We're going to wrap up the NFC East once it's a good sight now, just the end of the regular season. But you're watching the Focus TV, and we'll return very shortly. Welcome back to the Focus TV. We want to thank Cardell for checking in with us. We're going to talk to him a little bit later on Wizards Outlook. Octavia, we're happy you're good. Speaking of people that are either good or not good, some teams found out if they made the postseason or if they didn't make the postseason in the NFL. We're going to get into all of that. But first, we're going to start with the NFC East segment, which is kind of technically your last official NFC East segment, I guess, or not really, at least in the regular season. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. All right. That is definitely fair to say. And yes, a bug attacked me. I apologize. I don't do bugs. Came out of nowhere. I can't help my reactions. I apologize. But no, like you said, it is the final week 18. We finally made it. NFC East has concluded as far as the NFC East, actually. So we only had 2 games this week. They finished the season playing division games, of course. So first game that happened, which again, I don't know why they keep putting the Eagles on national TV. Like, I don't know why. And I don't know why they decided to do it twice this year against this same team, which to me is ridiculous. But the Eagles played the Cowboys. The Eagles had 26, Cowboys at 51. Dak Prescott was 21-27, 295 yards, 5 touchdowns. Yes, career high there. Ezekiel Elliott had 18 carries for 87 yards. Jaquan Hardy had 3 carries for 26 yards and 1 touchdown. Ito Smith had 1 carry for 4 yards and 1 touchdown. Corey Clement, who used to be an Eagles, so I really don't like this stat, but 7 carries for 58 yards and 4 receptions for 22 yards and 1 touchdown. Cedric Wilson had 5 receptions, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Dalton Schultz had 3 receptions for 21 yards and 2 touchdowns. As you can hear, that was a lot of touchdowns. On the side, not as many. Gardner Minshew had 19 of 33, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. 5 carries for 10 yards. Kenneth Gainwell had 12 carries for 78 yards and 1 touchdown. 4 receptions for 9 yards. Quez Watkins, 5 receptions, 84 yards and 1 touchdown. And finally, tight end Tyree Jackson, 3 receptions, 22 yards and 1 touchdown. As you could tell, there were some names in there you've probably never heard all season, and you probably won't hear again for the rest of the season as well. A lot of backups for both teams. So yes, I'll be honest, I really didn't care about the score. I'm sure that I honestly feel like it was probably better for the Cowboys just because we know that their offense has kind of been in a, whatever they want to call it. Nobody wants to call it a slump or a lull or whatever you want to call it. For them, it was just nice to kind of get back in the flow. I'm sure Dak throwing 5 touchdowns doesn't hurt. I was slightly concerned that they had him in as late as they did. He was still in the game in the fourth quarter. Don't know why. Somebody who had their ankle bone disconnected from their foot bone last year, still playing in the fourth quarter when you got to play a playoff game next week. But I mean, that's Mike McCarthy, I guess, and that's just what he decided to do. But it worked out for them. They came out with no injuries in that aspect. I still think, they still didn't play some players, but a lot of them were due to actual injuries or illnesses. Trevon Diggs didn't play due to an illness, and I believe Tony Pollard didn't play due to a foot. On the other side, Eagles didn't play anybody. Jason Kelce started so he can continue his streak of 122 starting games. So he did that. Devontae Smith, he beat the record. He's now the franchise holder for the Eagles for most receptions for a rookie in their first year. He beat out Deshaun Jackson. After he did that, they yanked him out. And half the other starters were on COVID lists. So again, it was just only really the Cowboys could change their seeding in this game. For the Eagles, it really wasn't predicated on anything they did in this game that would change their seeding. They had a chance to move to 6, didn't happen. They started 7. The Cowboys had a chance to move up to 2. That didn't happen. I believe they are 4. So, again, like Wilson said, we'll get into the actual playoffs format for next week. But just know both of these teams will be there, as opposed to these next 2 teams. Well, their next game is going to be on the couch. The Washington football team played the Giants. The Washington football team had 22. The Giants had 7. Taylor Heineke, 9 of 18, 120 yards, 2 carries for 3 yards. Antonio Gibson had 21 carries, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception for 5 yards. And Terry McLaurin, 4 receptions for 93 yards. The Giants, Jake Fromm, 15 of 31, 103 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 5 carries for 53 yards. Saquon Barkley, 11 carries for 30 yards and 3 receptions for 19 yards. And Darius Slayton had 2 receptions for 29 yards and 1 touchdown. First of all, I don't understand how Jake Fromm was their leading rusher. Again, I would have been set Saquon down somewhere, 11 carries for 30 yards. What was the point? But that's probably one of the reasons why their coach got fired today. Joe Judge has finally been relieved of his duties. David Gettleman has retired, if you want to call it that. I honestly didn't know he was 70, so he probably should have retired. Antonio Gibson ran for a career high 146 yards, scored a touchdown, and he ended up having his first 1,000-yard season for the Washington football team. It's kind of funny when last week Joe Judge was talking about, they're no clown organization, with people fighting on the sidelines, and then you lose to said clown organization that was fighting on the sidelines. So, I don't know what to tell you about that. It does seem like maybe the Washington football team has found a kicker. Joey Sly has been decent. Pretty good for them, especially with the kicker carousel they had this year. He had all 3 of his field goals this year. Not this year, excuse me. In this game, he had field goals of 23 yards, 43 yards. He gave Washington a 6-0 halftime lead, and second half is really when they pulled away. Interceptions, of course. It's the Giants. Whoever behind center throwing the ball is going to throw an interception. It doesn't matter who it is. Jake Fromm, Mike Glennon, Daniel Jones, they're all going to throw one. So Washington football team was able to sit there and get those. And yeah, it's a complete rebuild for the Giants at this point. Honestly, I'm not surprised. This is like the 3rd time in a row that the Giants have fired a coach after 2 seasons because it's been that bad. Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur. And now go ahead and add in Joe Judge. Who knows what they're going to do? It just doesn't look good all the way around. And they're paying a lot of people money. They paid Kenny Golladay a lot of money to do nothing this year, to do absolutely nothing. So I'm not surprised, but, the Giants won't be having any more games this year. So they are done. The Washington football team is done. The only thing that they're looking forward to is to see what they're going to do at the quarterback position and if Chase Young is going to come back healthy because they need him. Need him desperately. They missed him a lot. So those are their goals for the offseason. Offseason starts ASAP for them. They better start paying attention to mock drafts and who's on Tom McShay's board and see what quarterback they can get.
Yeah, they're going to be in a long line with other folks that are down bad at that position. So that's going to be fun, too. You're going to watch some folks in that middle tier of that of quarterbacking get paid like franchise guys because some people don't know what a franchise guy looks like, and it's been quite a while. So, when you haven't had one of those in forever, the guys that are closest to it, versus what you've seen recently, don't look too bad. But all right, we're gonna get to the playoffs. Like Octavia mentioned, Washington and New York aren't the only teams that are gonna be on the couch. They're gonna be teams that are gonna be joining them on the couch after this weekend, which is the first time because of the extra regular season, all this good stuff. Wild Card Weekend is now called Super Wild Card Weekend because there's that many freaking games.
Yeah. Just add a super.
We now. That's what they did. It was like, oh, it's a third day game. Super Wild Card Weekend. Marketing.
Wacky Wild Card Weekend. Just throw anything in the front.
That depends on how well this first one goes. So we got 3 straight days of football this weekend. We got 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, 1 game on Monday night. So I'm sure NFL's not mad about that. You get to keep the Monday night thing going in the first round of the playoffs. I see you. Y'all think y'all slick. We're going to start with the Saturday games. We did this on NFL Wrap-Up this week with Octavia, Justin, and myself. But, Ray, you're a part of this too. Again, talking to another Cowboys fan. So I hope you enjoy Sunday as well. I have no animosity because I've seen some people like, oh, it's a rivalry. Man, that was the 90s. Like, I think Kyle Shanahan was like, man, the players on the roster weren't alive to know what that rivalry was. So, no, it's just a wild card game. See people like, oh, I've hated. You should hate the Cowboys. I can't. My team's not good. Their team hasn't been good. Nothing matters. 2 teams just play. Just enjoy it. People just get hype and throw rivalry around. I get to say it now because I'm old enough. I am old enough to remember when it was. Right now, it's just 2 teams who haven't won stuff. Not a rivalry. It's 2 teams who have to Google the last time they did something great. We're like Jeopardy questions. All right, like that. Not a rivalry. All right, Saturday we got a 4-5 matchup. The Bengals host the Raiders. So gonna ask Ray. We'll start with you because Octavia and I have already talked about this a little bit. But who you like in that matchup?
I gotta go with the Bengals, man. Joe Burrow's been coming on. And the Raiders, they just. I mean, they've been winning games as of late, but it just seems like they pulling them out by the skin of their teeth, man. Bengals just seem like a more complete team right now. And then, in the playoffs, I definitely give the edge to the team with the more stellar quarterback play. So I'm going Bengals in that one.
All right, Octavia, I know your answer already, but the folks for this show are not aware of your answer yet. Maybe they are, but
that's fine. I will tell them again. It is the Bengals. Like we talked about last night too. It's just the Bengals have too many weapons. Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. Of course, I should have named him first. It's too much. The only way, like I said, I could see the Raiders hanging in there is if they can keep it close. Because honestly, their MVP is Carlson, the kicker. He saved them in a lot of games this year. But Derek Carr can run a 2-minute offense and get them down the field. So if they have it close enough where they can do that, they have a shot. And then if Max Crosby goes off, but like it was noted last night, Joe Burrow is used to running for his life at this point, but he could kind of still do it and throw the ball well when it's happening. And I mean, people talked about Jamar Chase not being able to catch the ball in the preseason, see how much that backfired. It looks like anything Joe Burrow throws up, Jamar Chase is just going to go up and get it. And if he's not, then Tyler Boyd is going to. And if he's not, T. Higgins is going to do it. And if he's not, Joe Mixon's going to run all over you. So I didn't really have faith in the Raiders. I'm surprised they got here, to be completely honest. I definitely give them kudos for that, for the turmoil they have endured this season. I don't know whose idea it was to move a team to Las Vegas. Obviously, that was not a good idea. But, yeah, I'm going Bengals.
Yeah, it's 3 for 3 here. I'm going to the team with the it's crazy when the Bengals have less turmoil, right? Like, let's say that out loud. The Bengals
seem like the most franchise of the Raiders. It's the story like, Raiders.
Pure chaos.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I got more faith in the Bengals. Like, look, man, I got better players. All right, like the Raiders are one of those teams who will get to a rapid fire. Yeah, the youngest in them, and I got more faith in the youngest than I do in their young coach. But they got the players. Like, you want to have a quarterback already. They know they have one. You want to have weapons. They got those too. The Raiders, you might not have a quarterback or the coach right now. If you lose this game, all that is up in the air. So, also, like, shout out to the Chargers. You're here, but another conversation, another day. Bills host the Patriots. It's a 3-6 matchup in the AFC, so it's all AFC matchup on Saturday. Ray, we'll start with you again.
This is a little interesting, man. I'm gonna go Buffalo. It just seems like they've, I don't want to say turned the corner is the right phrase, but I mean they seem like they're in a better spot than years past. They're playing solid. They just played the Patriots a couple weeks ago, and were able to get the win. So it seems like they're ready to turn the tide. But on the other hand, Bill Belichick still coaches New England, so he's going to have them prepared. But I just think the Bills are the better football team right now, and yeah, they'll get this one out.
All right, Octavia, Bills, Pats.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength as you. I'm definitely going Bills. Like you said, it is tough to go against Bill Belichick though, because he's Bill Belichick. But I really think Josh Allen and his team really took to heart that loss that they took to the Patriots early in the season when they only threw the ball 3 times and ran the ball down their throat. I really think they really took exception to that, and I think that put a chip on their shoulder. They won the last game 33-21, but I definitely think that they're going to try to send and improve a message. I would like to know what the weather's going to be, though. If it's going to be another ice storm or whatever they called that was happening out there, I might think twice about it, because we've obviously seen that they can do it. But the Bills just have too many weapons. They've been there before. Josh Allen, lately he's been on, as long as he's healthy, on that ankle or foot that he hurt earlier. And Stephon Diggs is half of what he was in the Miracle and wherever it was when he was in Minnesota. He's half of that, and he can get open. I would like to see Dawson Knox get a little bit more involved. It seems like ever since he hurt his hand early in the season, he hasn't been that big of a factor when he was a huge factor when the season started. And then I'm interested to see how they use Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's one of the greatest as far as vets that are still playing right now in the wide receiver position. He's always there. He's trusty. So I think they'll lean on him a little bit too. But as long as they got that and hopefully have some type of running game, depending on what they're doing with Zach Moss or Devin Singletary, whoever's the number 1 back, or if they're going to split the workload, because they have to have a running game too. But I definitely think the Bills are just going to be too much for the Patriots. I think Mac is a great game manager. I just don't think he's there yet to put up enough points to go against the Bills.
Yeah, I'm with you both. The Bills are taking a lot personal. They didn't like the way they left the postseason. They seem a little bit geared up and ready to go. I'm not saying to win the whole thing. I just think they're a year ahead of the Pats. McCorkle, we know what he is, and he's going through some things. I don't think he has enough weaponry at this point in time for him to be able to. It's not a fair fight if it became a shootout. Again, I love Kendrick Bourne. If KB is your most explosive perimeter player, we know what you're looking for in the draft, New England. It's okay. Well, look at these wide receivers. Go get you some athletes on the outside.
Trust me.
Go get you some weapons. So McCorkle can make it do what he do. But right now, it's a little easy to you stop the run. It's not like the ball's going over your head. It's not because McCorkle can't throw it, but ain't nobody beating anybody anywhere down the field. So Sunday, this is a fun one. Octavia, Buccaneers host the Eagles. 2-7 matchup. Ray, you get to go first.
It's okay. I won't take it personal. I already know.
Yeah, man, I'm going with terrific Tom and crew. I just feel like it's about as straightforward as it can get. I mean, the Eagles kind of backpedaled into the playoffs, and the Bucs are coming off a Super Bowl and are one of the strongest teams in the league. It's not too much analysis required on this one. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't get too ugly. But yeah, I definitely got the Bucs winning.
Octavia.
So, like we said yesterday, by default, I will pick my team. I don't care if we lose. And it's definitely a high possibility. I'm not disputing that. So just understand my my fandom versus my being smart. But I mean, the only way that I can really see us having any chance in this game is, like Wilson talked about, is kind of getting after Tom. That front four has really got to be on, like, in order for them to have any chance to really disrupt him or do anything close to get to stay in the game. A lot of people don't realize that when they played the Buccaneers earlier this year, they only lost by 6. And that's when way before our team had any identity at all. And I would say that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had probably fuller of their weaponry without having, Godwin. Of course, we know the diva Antonio Brown is gone. Fournette coming off of an injury. Mike Evans coming off of an injury. If they can actually, the Eagles can actually run the ball like they've been running the ball. Now it's the number 1 run offense versus the number 3 run defense. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see how that plays out. But just like you said, Ray, like the Eagles just happened to like stumble and fall into the playoffs, and nobody saw this coming. Not even me, because you guys know I was done with football after week 5. I was like, let's just start talking about basketball now. Who are the Eagles? I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So they definitely stumbled their way in during what people were calling a rebuilding year, which honestly it was supposed to. We got rid of our franchise quarterback, who gave us 3 first-round picks. Thank you, guys. Didn't make playoffs over there. But we'll take that. So, I mean, I'm honestly happy and proud of what they've done already. I will not be disappointed if they lose this game. I will be disappointed if they lose this game without any effort. I hope we don't just get ran over. But when talent outweighs us, it is what it is. I really hope Jalen has a good showing, because I think it will do good for, what we decide to do with those picks that we're going to have in the first round next year. So hopefully he has a good showing. I'm glad they didn't play him last week, let him rest that ankle. Because you can see that when that ankle was aggravated, it was one game he had 2 carries for 7 yards, and I was like, what is this? We can't live off of this. And then Miles Sanders, I don't know if he's playing with his broken hand and he's become injury prone, so hopefully he has it together. So I'm glad that we got this. That's what I'm like. I was fine with last week. I'm glad they got the rest, but I will not be surprised if the Buccaneers win. I have to speak things into existence. We will win the game. We will win the game. But you guys know.
Yeah, going Bucks. Like I said, NFL wrap up. It's a year too early for the Eagles. Like they got some pieces, but they're not too different than like the Pats, right? Like you got your quarterback. The only difference is like at least you got wide receiver 1 in Devontae. As for everybody else there, I hope you enjoyed your stay. It's been great.
JJ, get out. I cannot wait till they get rid of JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Like, sir, you can't even do a pick play right. Goodness gracious. Get him out of here. I hate him. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. With 3 first-round picks, shout out to Carson, the gift that keeps giving.
Appreciate you.
You can get 2 first-round wide receivers to go with last year's Heisman Trophy winner. And then now, boom, just like that, you got a whole wide receiving core and the rest of the draft to address other issues and a bunch of cap room, because everybody knows one of the best times to build a team is when your quarterback's on that super cheap deal before you have to pay him. Cleveland, pay attention to that. Another story, another day, another time. Yeah, for me, so, again, it's going to be Tom and them. It is what it is. All right, right. 3-6 matchup in the NFC. The Cowboys host the Niners, and what is definitely not a rivalry. Y'all are bored. Find something new to talk about. There are 70 different ways to talk about this year's game. Rivalry isn't one of them. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, definitely not a rivalry. That's those days are over. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the boys. Fandom aside, I do think they're the better football team. Their offense has been up and down. The defense is really what's been the most steady for them throughout the season. But if you got a defense that's performing like that with the potential of that offense, then you're going to be tough to beat, man. And Dak, he's not going to lose a game for you. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the young guys on defense respond to their first postseason action. You know, it's a different world once the regular season's over. But yeah, man, I think they got enough to get this done. On the flip side, I would not be shocked if they find a way to lose. You know, I just feel like as long as Jerry Jones remains in charge, we don't deserve nice things. You know, but yeah, no, I just think the Cowboys are the better team. They got more on both sides of the ball, I think, and I think they'll be able to pull this victory out.
All right, Octavian.
So I'm sticking with my same answer last night. I am undecided. I'm undecided because I really still feel like I feel like it's up in the air. Like I really am just interested to see how this game plays out. I really want to see the matchups. Like we talked about, is Trayvon going to follow Debo? How's that going to work? Because Debo going to be in the backfield getting the ball handed off to him and run like he a running back. We talked about this as well. As far as the quarterback comparison, we know Dak is the better quarterback. So that gives them a really good edge. But I feel like both of their defenses are really, really good. You know, I mean, I feel like the front four for the Niners are good. Bosa can be out of this world. Armstead as well. Who's gonna guard Kittle? Like, and then who's gonna stay with Cooper? And then who's going to stay with CD? Like, to me, there's just so many crazy matchups that can happen. So I'm really just looking forward to see how both coaches scheme this up. So that's one other place that I feel like the 49ers definitely have an advantage is the coaching. Because I feel like Kyle is going to be prepared for that. I don't trust McCarthy. I'm sorry. I don't trust them. I trust the players. I don't trust McCarthy because he's not going to be paying attention to the clock and something crazy going to happen. And he'll be like, "Oh, I thought the other coach knew. I didn't know." So those are my only like concerns. Like, really, I want to see the matchups really. But I honestly think this is going to probably be the best game of the weekend. That's just my particular opinion. I think this is going to be the best one. It's going to be the closest one, and maybe that's why everybody's all riled up to call it a rivalry or whatever they want to call it. I just want to see the game. So honestly, I cannot call it, and I will not call it. Sorry.
All right, so we had an opportunity here, big opportunity to just split this tie. Yeah, like y'all all know how I feel about the guy that plays quarterback for my team.
Yesterday we said we were going to say his name.
I'm sorry. Y'all know how I feel about James Garoppolo and the job he's done during his tenure as the 49ers quarterback. I think a couple things that Raymond said is kind of why I'm taking San Francisco in this matchup. The NFC is real wide open in the playoffs this year. It's kind of really wild. There's like 3 teams in the NFC I feel that have had actual playoff experience in terms of making runs. It's like Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and San Fran. Then the other thing is I love Dallas's offense. I just don't like their scheme. I love their pieces. And I think this is where this game could be won or lost. For Dallas is I think they got bigger names. They by far have the better quarterback. I think what makes up for it in terms of between James and Dak is James has somebody that will, for the most part, keep him away from doing things that can really hurt him. We've seen at times when Dallas offense kind of gets off track, it'll be a couple weeks before it gets back on again. The key thing for Dallas's defense, what's going to be tested, is their discipline. They're athletic. They're fast. They fly around. Discipline is not a thing I think of when I think of their defense, and it's going to be tested. Micah, your eyes are going to be tested. Linebacking core, your eyes are going to be tested. Trayvon, Lord knows your eyes are going to be tested. Mm-hmm. So if Dallas' defense can stay disciplined, I think that's the biggest challenge. They'll be fine. Like we know what the book is. Stop the run if you can and make James beat you. The problem is I don't know if Dallas is built correct up front to stop the run, and that's the issue you get into. Because if you can't stop the run, then they can go about the way of making they do a good job of making sure James can't hurt them, like for good. They'll just be like, I think the first drive in the second half against the Rams, it was 10 straight runs, and the one pass was thrown by Deebo Samuel. Where else is that happening with the quarterback making that much money? Right? Somebody else is going to come out and be like, hey,
should have been Indianapolis.
You're the guy. Jonathan Taylor should have 25 carries, you'd be in the playoffs. But people get to do it. You can go back to Seattle. You had a beast mode. You just had to hand the ball off. Sometimes people get to doing too much as a quarterback to do stuff. What I know Kyle will not do unless he's forced to do it is tell that dude to throw that ball 30, 40 times. He will not. He refuses. So it's up to Dallas. If you can stop the run, you'll be fine. I just don't like that matchup because of that. If they can stop the run, they'll be in good shape. But you got to be able to stop the run and stay disciplined because he's going to throw so much crap at you here with your eyes. It just does stuff to you, man. It's just bad. But it should be fun. But, yeah, y'all got to let this rivalry stuff go, man. It's two teams who ain't won nothing in 25 years. Stop it. just let it go. They're both ashamed to what they used to be. Stop. Embarrassing. Chiefs, Steelers, and then Rams, Cardinals. Who you guys got? And then we'll get to Ray. I'll let you catch everyone else up on what the Wizards been up to.
Chiefs, Steelers. I'm going Chiefs. Just let's go ahead and sit in Big Ben out the pasture. Get this over with. Rams, Cardinals. I'm going Rams. Arizona's been having a rough go at it the last few weeks, and on the flip side, the Rams have been playing pretty well, and Arizona's gonna have to stop that offense. So, and that's proven difficult for a majority of the league. So I'm going Rams in that one.
All right, I'd say the last two games are kind of simple to.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Kansas City. Pittsburgh, you squeaked your way in here. You danced your way into the playoffs. So congratulations to you guys. Give Big Ben his last one because those 39-year-old legs it's over for those. Kansas City gonna run up and down there. So as long as Kelsey's hip and Tyreek Hill's heel is fine. But even if it's not, I still got more faith in their backups and Byron Pringle and Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be back. And we know what their defense is doing, Chris Jones and Honey Badger and all of them. So as long as Sorensen don't get acting crazy out there, you know how he can be. But yeah, it should be an easy win for Kansas City. On the next game, Cardinals and Rams, I'm going Cardinals. And I'm going Cardinals because I do not, and I will not trust Matthew Stafford. I cannot. I can't do it. I can't do it. He has thrown 8 interceptions in the last 4 games. 8 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I don't believe it. He reminds me of Detroit every time I see him. Everybody was like, oh, it wasn't him. It was everybody else. I mean, he had Calvin Johnson. You know, he still didn't do anything there. So it's not all of this Detroit. It had to be some him too. And lately, he's just been throwing the ball to people who don't got on blue and yellow. So I don't trust it. I feel as though Kyler Murray can use his little legs and get them moving. And I mean, I definitely think it hurts that they don't have DeAndre Hopkins. So I definitely think AJ Green has to step up a lot. I think they have to utilize Zach Ertz a lot. And James Conner has got to be on with the 1-2 punch of him and Chase Edmonds, excuse me. And then, like you noted yesterday, Wilson, also the fact that J.J. Watt can come back, that could be a little bit of a game record right there. And we all know they got Budda Baker on the backside, and he likes to rush the quarterback too. So you can see him up there getting the old slow Matthew Stafford too. And Matthew Stafford, if he even sees him coming, he's probably going to throw it to somebody in the white anyway. So I just can't trust Matthew Stafford, so I'm pulling for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a toss-up for me. Yeah, I know they're both division teams or whatever. Man, look, I don't like either coach. I think Cliff's been bad consistently. Like, all they do at the second half of the year, no matter how hot they start, it's a free fall. It's just this year they made the postseason amid their free fall. That's it. They just had enough of a cushion. And then you had enough of my team doing what they were doing best, fumbling the bag away where they couldn't take advantage of it. So you mix that in with a free fall. Us having a personality disorder at times, Tennessee, losing to Colt McCoy, things like that. And then, the Rams, though, hey, man, look, I don't trust their coach. and I don't trust the quarterback. We spent a lot of time throwing a lot of blame at one Jared Goff. He hasn't been here all year. Ain't nothing changed but some numbers. I hate to be the guy, all right? I hate to be that guy. Y'all with that explosive behind offense, having an inability to run the ball because they're like fake tough guys. So I just can't take them serious. Like, I just can't take them serious. It's hard for me to take the Rams seriously because they'll be like, all this stuff. And then later on, they'll be like, man, stop. I was just playing. Leave me alone. Like, they turn into your little brother every 10 seconds. So I just can't take them seriously. All right, Ray. I know Cardell checked in live from the Wizards. Right now in that game, it's 97-93. Washington, they regained the lead. It's 10:55 left in the first quarter. But if you want to fill everybody in, so what Washington's been on to leading up to this game, the floor is yours.
Yeah, like you said earlier, they're in the midst of a big homestand right now. So yeah, it'll be a lot with them. But they beat Orlando Magic by the skin of their teeth the other night. They'll also play them again tomorrow night at home. But yeah, man, not going to spend too much time on this. We'll definitely go in depth later on Wizards Outlook, but they're just not defending, and that's where the bulk of their issues lie. It seems like every game somebody's having a career night against them. The other night it was Terrence Ross's turn. So they got to figure this defensive thing out. They got to get their discipline back, and they just got to give effort. Offense is not the problem. We've been saying that since training camp, that offense would not be the problem. Their success begins and ends with what they do on the defensive end of the floor. So if they continue to struggle there, then they're going to continue to be a middle of the road team. Hopefully they can pull this win out against a group of babies, but that remains to be seen. Hopefully they buckle down and get the stops they need down the stretch. In regards to the Go-Go, they are back in action after extended layoff due to COVID. They played Canton Charge and Motor City. They were 1-1 in those games. They're playing the Lakeland Magic tonight. They are currently up 112-82. So Go-Go there after the break, they've been looking solid. Jaime Ekanike, man, he was fresh off a 10-day with the Wizards, and he's been playing out of his mind since he's been back with the Go-Go. He had 24-9 against Canton, and then followed that up with 28-9 against Motor City. So, man, I don't know what they did to him when he was with the Wizards, but it's definitely paying off. Also, Kyrie Walker, he's been playing pretty good as of late. He had 18-5 against Canton, and then followed that up with 30-11 against Motor City. So he's looks like he's adjusting and figuring this thing out. And his route here was kind of unorthodox. He was a highly touted high school player, but he basically skipped college and just been training individually for the past couple years for the pros. So at the time he was drafted, he hadn't played an official game in about 2 years. So yeah, man, it's interesting to see how his road is going to play out. But yeah, against Motor City, they also faced two local products. Jamarco Pickett, he was from Eastern, and he played at Georgetown, and also Anthony Tart, Gaithersburg High School, and he played for Coppin State as well. So just want to highlight those two local kids, getting their opportunity in the G League. But yeah, man, the Go-Go, they look good coming off the break. Prior to, they were just kind of middle of the road team, trying to figure it out. Again, they're extremely young, from the GM down to the last guy on the bench. So this is a learning experience for everybody. But it seems since they've been back, they've been pretty much on one, man. They've been playing decent. Guys are developing. So it's just going to be fun to see what they do for the rest of the year.
Yes, it definitely will. Jaime got some time with the NBA. Was like, I'm trying to get back to that immediately. Immediately. Enjoyed my stay up there. All right, we're going to take our second break. When we get back, a quick update on college basketball teams that we covered, and we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire. We get out of here. You watching the Focus TV. We will return very shortly. Welcome back to the Focus CVS Problems of College Basketball segment. I'm filling in on the GW part for Cardell, obviously. We had the Wizards game. For the GW men, they're 4-9. They're on the road currently, taking on 9-4 VCU. I'll get the score for you guys in just a little bit. 7-7 GW women's will face 10-3 Rhode Island Wednesday at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Maryland women's on Sunday. Maryland hit the road for a matchup against Minnesota. Chloe Bibby led a balanced attack by scoring a season-high 23 points. All 5 starters scored in double figures in an 87-73 win. The Terps used an 8-0 run late in the third to create a bit of separation, and a 7-0 run in the fourth to put the game in full control. As always with Maryland, it's about when they tighten up on defense and how long they're able to sustain it on that end of the floor. Obviously, it feeds into their offense. They're able to get out and run, which is what they love to do. Earlier in the week, Maryland hosted Penn State, beating them 106-78 on Thursday in College Park. Their defense allowed them to get out and run. 5 players in double figures again. This time was Diamond Miller, who led the way with 24 points in her first start of the season. Ashley Owusu added 20. Angel Reese had 15 and 14. It was good to see that trio healthy, all at once on the floor together. However, their defense in the first half was outstanding. Allowed them to get out to a 53-28 lead at the half. They cruised in the second half where both teams just kind of exchanged baskets. Maryland's defense, they didn't reach that level of intensity again in the game. McKenna Marissa of Penn State, she had 29 points, but all of it came in the third and fourth quarter. They held her to 5 by the half. The Terps will host Naz Hillman in Michigan on Sunday. I guess, with the rapid fire questions, I guess we'll start with the NBA because this is a good one. Shout out to Chauncey Billups. Kyrie part-time point guard Irving was a topic of conversation from the Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups. Quote, Kyrie he's a wizard, man. He's must-see TV. I personally think as somebody that's played the position, I think Kyrie's the most skilled player that's ever played that position. Just straight skill, nothing else, just straight skill. I think he's the best that I've ever seen at the position skill-wise. So, obviously, I have to ask you guys what you think about Coach Billups' statement. Octavia, we'll start with you and then Ray.
Chauncey, shut up. Sir. All time. Don't get me wrong. Kyrie is Kyrie when he's here. Let's start there. When he's here, he's great. But I just can't say all time. I don't know. It's just rubbing me the wrong way. He's a great point guard. But again, what I feel like always happens is we, forget about the people that brought the game to where it is now. And we just go off of what's happening currently. But don't get me wrong, Kyrie he's like Stephen A. Smith says, he's a bad man. He's great, but he's just not all time for me. Ray, I love Chauncey.
Ray, your response,
man. Yeah, I don't know why we continue to do this. But anyway, like Octavia said, man, he could have, if Chauncey just left it at Kyrie is a wizard, perfect, because he definitely is, man. Like his ability, footwork, ball handling, shooting, scoring, dexterity, finishing, all that is amazing, but still a whole other side of the court that you have to play. And if we're talking about, if we're calling him the most skilled ever, no matter what he does on offense, he's not anywhere near the top of that conversation on defense. So I just think people forget that defense is a skill, and I'll leave it at that.
I think he
That's
forgot.
a very kind way to answer that, Raymond. That's a very, very kind way to answer that. A quick update on that GW VCU score. VCU, they pretty much got this one. They're in control of this one. It's 82-57.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're in control. James Bishop leads GW with 16 points. Adrian Baldwin leads VCU with 16. But yeah, I have nothing to say about what Chauncey just said. I just found it just hilarious and delightfully funny. To my new favorite person in the world to talk about, Sean McVay. The Rams and Niners played one of the most important Week 18 games this past Sunday. The Rams had a chance to end a recent 5-game losing streak to San Francisco, all led by one James Garoppolo, and denied them a postseason berth with a win in their fancy new SoFi Stadium. I just want to get your thoughts on. I'm gonna share a couple quotes with you guys, and you guys tell me what you think. I trust both of you to be fair-minded and objective, and let these folks have it once you hear it. And keep in mind, once you hear these quotes, who you picked going into this week. I just want you to hear these quotes. I will start with Sean McVay. Quote, "It did catch us off guard just because of the way that it's been this year. It's been great. Great atmosphere, great environment. Yesterday was the same thing, but there was a lot of red there. That was definitely a surprise." End quote. The second from Matthew Stafford, who was in charge of running that offense, that so dangerous offense of the Rams. They had to use the silent count at home. Quote, "It was a tough environment for us to communicate in, really the whole second half." End quote. So I just want to hear what you guys, have to think about these guys. Again, it holds about 74,000 people, some people that were there. They were calling it Levi South. So take for that what you will. Levi is where the red team plays. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys had to say. Ate, we'll start with you and then Ray.
What was Sean McVay not prepared for? I don't like
the number of opposing teams' fans in his stadium.
Oh, okay. I thought he was saying like he wasn't prepared for like what the 49ers was going to do. I was like, because you already said like we know like they're going to run the ball, so he didn't know that. But okay, you're talking about that. So what? Like, I don't understand. Like, yeah, it sucks that you're the home team and nobody's really not cheering loud enough, I guess, for you, and not being quiet enough for you when you're on offense. But isn't that like a part of football? I feel like that happens every time you play an away game or possibly in a game where, both teams play in the same state. I mean, it's not far-fetched to think like, hey, we play in California, they play in California. It's probably going to be a lot of their fans here. And I'm pretty sure the 49ers always travel well in them. You should know because you played against them the last, couple of years. So, and you have this shiny stadium. Of course, everybody's going to want to come to the new shiny stadium that y'all just keep talking about every 5 seconds. And every time either a Chargers or Rams game is on, I see a SoFi commercial that I never see any other time. I've never seen a SoFi commercial until I'm watching the game when the Rams or the Chargers are playing. Any other time, I ain't never seen a SoFi commercial. So, boo-hoo, get it together and game plan better. Like,
Ray, your thoughts on these comments after the game was over?
I'm changing my pick, man. That was stupid. Like, seriously, man, what is he talking about? Like,
because because they don't host the Cardinals got to come there, right?
Yeah.
Next week. It's gonna be same.
Yeah.
It's gonna be again. Like, it's gonna be more red again. So that was just practice, sir.
Well, yeah, maybe he'll be more prepared this time, but I don't know because the Niners are varsity red and the Cardinals are cardinal red, so maybe you'll have to adjust again. Yeah, I can't.
They don't know what to do.
I can't believe he said that out loud. Like, that's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm. I just felt the need to share. I want to see what you guys were gonna say about it.
Like, why was that your excuse, sir? Was that the best you could come up with? Well, it was kind of loud in there.
Jesus,
you didn't know what
man.
to do. We got so
You
rattled.
never played in the loud stadium before?
But I mean, it wasn't loud when you guys were winning 17-0. It's kind of quiet then. Maybe if you kept winning, it would have been so loud.
I'm just a messenger. That's all I am. A simple messenger. Ray said I'm changing my pick. All right. Ja Morant has had several viral moments during his young career. The other night, the Grizzlies were punching the Lakers, and he decided to remind everyone that he defies gravity on a regular basis. So he turned the ball over, as you guys see here. Avery Bradley thinks he has it, and then no, he doesn't. He went up to the square to take the ball off the backboard, and then went back down court like nothing happened. Just whether you guys were watching the game live or if you saw it as it was posted on social a trillion times. I know every time it hit my timeline, I watched it as if it was the first time. What did y'all think of that sequence? Octavia and then Ray.
Yeah, let me tell you. I wasn't watching the game, and I saw the alert. I was like, turn the game on now. I don't know what I'm doing. Just stop everything and just put this game on. Like, that is ridiculous. And Ja does not get as much talk as he deserves, bro. And, like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And then as I'm watching this game, there was another portion in the game where he dunked the ball. He was so high that he had to duck his head. He almost knocked his head against the rim. I was like, bro, I can't. Like, I literally, like, honestly, like, I turned the game on my phone right now because I was like, they're playing Golden State, and they're winning 54-43 currently. And they're going for their 10th straight win. Like, Memphis is not playing. Like, everybody was talking about the Lakers. Everybody was talking about, oh, they're going to be so great. Yeah, no, let's talk about Memphis. Let's talk about their young core. Let's talk about Bane, who's going off. Let's talk about, I mean, Steven Adams is always going to be a beast wherever he is, and he's not even playing right now. I think he's still hurt or in COVID protocols or whatever is going on. And I think Dylan Brooks is still not even playing. They're on a 10-game winning streak. Like, I just, like, when I saw it, like, I literally, like, just kind of, like, passed out with, like, turn the game on. I don't know, find a live stream, figure out how to turn this game on because Ja Morant is just out of this world. And he's one of my favorite players. Like I said, that one of my favorite players. He has such a high motor. Like, he turned the ball over. He was the first one down the floor. Anybody else probably would have just stood there and waited for them to make the layup and then walk back to go get the ball to dribble it back up the court. He sprinted down there and grabbed the ball off of the backboard, bro. Like, excuse me, no, you can't have that. Let me go back and do what I was doing before. Like, it's just unheard of. I'm sorry, I'm done gushing. It was just amazing to watch.
It's fine. You weren't alone gushing over that play. The only people upset were with that play were Laker fans, and no one cares about that at all.
We don't care. We don't care how they feel at all.
At all. Doesn't even matter. They're like Rams fans last week. Your feelings are irrelevant at the moment. Ray, your thoughts on Ja Morant's crazy block?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great play. I didn't see it live either, but you know, it's been played millions of times since then. So yeah, it was a great play. Like I'm gonna go a little old man yelling at clouds right now. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life, so it's rare that I see something that just makes me, you know, explode on the inside, and that doesn't take away from, you know, the play at all, because it was a great play. But I mean, like, I was just like, oh, that's what Kenyon Martin used to do religiously, you know. And then so I mean, like, when people get with the most athletic play ever and all that type of stuff, that just gets kind of annoying to me. Right, yeah, man. Celebrate it for what it is.
It was an amazing play, man. Yeah, but
it definitely was amazing, man. Like, and that's like that's the type of play that just snatches the heart out the other team, man. But yeah, as great as the play was, it's a lot of overreaction. Stop why do we have to ruin moments like this? Just let it be on its own, man. It was a fantastic play. Like so yeah, man. This we're in the age of forgetfulness.
We're in the age of viral. It's just when something goes viral, they forget everything else that happened before because this went viral. That's where we are. It's just like, oh, this is the hot thing right now, so it's the best thing ever. And it's like, no, it's not the best thing ever. Like you definitely pointed out, Kim Moore used to do that. But take it for, like you said, take it for what it is. Like he had an amazing play. Celebrate that play. Don't compare it to others in the past and all this other nonsense. Like, just take it for that. And that's what I said. Like, I looked at it, I was like, I gotta go watch this game. I didn't say like, I wonder who did that too. Like, you know what I mean?
Like you guys said, just the going overboard is what ruins the moments. Because if you just let it be and just let it sit for what it is, let us appreciate it and take it all in, and it's great. But then when you get to telling me that it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, now I'm not enjoying it anymore. You ruined it for me. It was an amazing. Don't tell, like, how are you going to tell me what I've seen and this is automatically it? I'm with Ray. Like, that's where I'm on the front lawn too. Like, get off my lawn and my street. I said it was great. I enjoyed it for what it was. But don't tell me it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, like just it was a heck of a play. It might be one of the top plays of the year. Cool. If we stopped right there, man, everything's wonderful. But you about to tell me all the stuff I've been blessed enough from my old age to watch. That is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Look, man, I'm gonna have to walk away now. All right, leave me alone. I was old enough to see Mike before the broken leg. Like, chill out. Let's relax. And it was a great play. It was a fantastic play, Ja. And it's why the Grizzlies should be on national television more. That's what it's for. They should be on national television. Now that's the conversation. If that's the conversation we came away with, everybody be fine. But don't tell me it's the greatest snatch block ever. Like, somebody's gonna get got like tonight. And depending on how much you like the person, you're gonna tell me how great it was. You know, like I'm just it's so subjective that I just gotta leave it alone. Want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, don't forget, follow Focus TV on all your social media mediums. For you Wizard Outlooks folks, we'll see you all in a little bit. Wednesday mornings on our Roku channel, all you got to do is open your Roku television or device in the search box, type in the Focus TV. And then Friday night, 7 p.m. DCTV, get to dctv.org in case you live outside the city limits. You can watch it on their website, and it'll let you know the times that it re-airs throughout the weekend. For Octavia, Raymond, and myself, and Rodney as well, y'all have a great evening. We'll see you guys next week.